All right, we are back, and we're gonna go into some Q&A from you guys. But before we do that, apparently there's some interesting news. I don't know if it's rumored or not, but is Lucifron retiring? Is that right?
Yeah.
Confirmed, retired, done, never playing StarCraft 2 again.
Let me see this. Is there an official statement from him or the?
Yeah, I don't know how it
Last
initially came about. I just seen the Twitter. So it's rumored that he's either retiring or taking a break or something.
All right, well that's too bad. Okay, so Apollo streamed Lucifron retiring. That would be kind of sad if he was. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I know when he started going full time, I feel like his results ended up getting worse, right? When he started going full time.
Yeah.
I think that there's like there's two sides to being good at anything. There is the talent side and there's like the work side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. So some players are super talented and then they go so far.
But they don't necessarily have the work side. Fuck, I know this because I read this fucking book. I think some guy that does weight training, Mark Riptard, teaches on it. He says that I think he says that people with a lot of talent and a lot of drive make great athletes. People with a lot of drive and no talent make great coaches. I think is what he said. But like if you like, there's a lot of people that have been like really talented. And you always see those people come up, and people always talk to them as great potential, great potential. We all know those players. I can name some, without being too mean. I won't though. But like,
come
there are
on,
a ton of those.
name
Like,
'em.
well, sure. Like Illusion is like an example, right? The
Oh,
people,
there we go.
or you could argue, depending upon how much of a dick you want to be, or if you're Naniwa, you could say like Stefano was a great example of someone with a lot of talent, but didn't necessarily have the work drive needed, and only rode like the Broodlord and Fester. But I mean, that's like a whole other topic. But there are a lot of people who have a lot of talent, but then as soon as it comes time to like buckle down and put in all the work needed to get to like the next level, it's like fuck that. I don't know if I'm sure there are at least some people in chat where you got the people who can coast through high school really easily, and they're pretty bright people and they don't ever need to study. And then as soon as they get to college, those are the people that get fucked the hardest because they've never had to study before. And then they get there and it's like, oh my god, like this, I actually do need to study now. And those are the people that always have, the most trouble. Whereas all of the middle of the road kids that have been always, like okay and needed to study always end up doing better than them, at least in the first year or two. I don't know. I think there's a lot of that goes on in StarCraft too. A lot of people who will quit to go full time and then like nothing ever comes of it,
So I guess your point of saying all that is Lucifron is more talent than work ethic, I guess.
Oh, I mean, I don't actually know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way I can reconcile in my mind a really good player coming up and like being promising, and then they quit to go full time, and then they just fizzle out completely. That's why Scarlet is so exciting, because we haven't seen Scarlet just fizzle out yet. She has been putting in a fuck ton of time to get good, and she just seems to be getting better and better and better. And it hasn't been one of those cases where, oh my god, like up and comer, and we never hear about him again.
Yeah, true. Huck, what are your thoughts on Lucy?
Similar thoughts. It's really weird. There's been a few players that they've played part-time while going to school and done really well, and then they went full-time and they did worse. I don't know. I mean, Paul obviously is going to school and he's doing really well, but he does well full-time too. So, but I definitely feel like Lucifron hasn't been performing as well as he should been, especially if he's playing full-time. But you never know with players. Like, no one really shares like what they're doing. He could have just said, I'm going full-time to get more money from Mouse or get similar.
I see what you mean.
Or play less or not giving a shit. You don't really know. So
okay, so it sounds like Wake is saying that he remains on the team. He goes back to studies. He will not be an active competitor.
Well, a DreamHack admin just linked this. I'll put it in Skype.
Yeah, Stasia, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to be going back to school. So at the very least, it's a hiatus from competition.
An active competitor. So.
That's too bad, because Lucifron was kind of one of the big foreign Terran hopes for a while, but to be to kind of get on what we were talking about with just folks that are going full time. When he started going full time, his results started to slip. I mean, he didn't make any really great results the second half of the year. When he started the year, really great. So that was a little unfortunate since a lot of us were hoping. In fact, Vortex I think had better results. His brother did.
Yeah, he did for sure.
Yeah.
But he's younger; it should be expected.
What? What does that
Younger
mean?
players, man. They're always gonna do better when they're in the up and coming. Like, I'm not gonna be an up and comer. I'm 24. I've been playing for like 4 or 5 years. It's expected that I, would like, even though I plan to do really good this year, most people would expect me to do as good as I've done in the past, or like even worse. You usually don't get older and get better.
Yeah, it's like a neurobiological fact that the time that your brain can learn the best is as you're growing. Like that's why a kid can literally learn to speak 3 or 4 languages by the time they're 4 or 5 years old. And I've known kids who are bilingual and trilingual, who are 5 or 6 years old. But once you hit like the 20s, learning a second language can take you years sometimes to be like conversationally fluent. The younger you are, the easier it is to pick that shit up, right?
Yeah. I mean, what about Nesty? Nesty ended up playing better at older age. I'm sure, Chris, I'm sure Huck has an interesting view on this.
Like if someone made a Facebook post and they're like, "White Raw to return 2014 champion of DreamHack," like no one's gonna be like, "Fuck yeah, we expect this shit to happen." I mean, come on, it's like Ender's Game. Gotta be young, gotta be nimble.
Good analogy there. Okay, well, I guess we'll see what comes of Lucifron, and I don't know. Hopefully, we see him back because. Who's playing Terran now? I guess we got Marine still playing Terran over there.
Yeah, see, Hero Marine is really good, young, coming up. I mean, that's a good example of someone that should be doing well.
That's about it.
Yeah, I think that's. I don't
that's
know.
about it.
No, NA has Nathanius. Nathanius, up and comer. He's been playing in WCS America. It's making. I think Masa's pretty good. Neeb is doing really well. I think Neeb's going to surprise a lot of people this year. On NA.
Really? Okay. All right.
Yep.
Can't wait to see that. Avilo. What about Avilo, man? Avilo.
I hope this. I was gonna say this earlier, actually. I was hoping.
Giving this fuck airtime.
I'm hoping he's in this MLG voting poll. I'm banned from this chat.
He can't.
We used to be friends in
Avilo
Brood
can't
War.
play in tournaments because you're not allowed to barcode in a tournament, so his style will never fucking work. Until he learns how to do anything else. Even when he plays on a fucking barcode, no one is
Did you
fucking
lose to him or something?
Yeah, I'm like.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Oh.
You play PvT. You can't say shit. Fuck you.
You know
it's a Villa. The way that you know that it's a Villa. The way that you know it's a Villa is in the middle of the fucking game. You'll be sitting there. You know that they've built like 6 to 8 Hellions and they've got like 3 Banshees and they even fucking upgrade Cloak. And you'll be sitting there like, he hasn't fucking harassed me all game long. And then you'll be like on your third base, you're like, fuck, it must be a Villa because he's the only person that will make those units and doesn't have like the APM to harass. He's like in his base like playing chess or whatever with himself, and then that's when but by that point it's too late. So then you got to get all of your shit ready to attack, and he's already got like the point defense drones and the fucking widow mines and his whole network of bullshit setups. Like, god fucking damn, it's always too late. The way that you always know you're playing a Villo is when after 15 minutes have gone by and he has all the units to harass and he hasn't. Then you're like, fuck, it has to be a Villo.
Avilo, another one with good subs and stream numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Chad lost to him or something. I remember the other day, like 2-0 or something. So,
I think Chad normally favors macro games though, doesn't he?
Yeah, always. He always plays super safe and whatnot. I know Cats is like 3-12 against him or something.
3-12 against Avila?
Against a Villa?
Sure. I was just making it up to see how Cats reacted.
Oh yeah.
We'll see.
Nice. So yeah, Terran Hopes, man. We are in need of some Terran Hope. But I guess who else is there? Zeno, right? How's Zeno playing these days?
He's in school and whatnot, so he's pretty good. I don't know how well he's progressing. He was really hungry when he first joined EG. I don't know how hungry he is anymore. EG's sucking soul out of him.
How's the Suppy up and coming?
Suppy? Oh yeah, Suppy's been he's been lost in Asia not lost in Asia, but he's been hiding in Asia for the last few months now, right?
Yeah.
See a new improved Suppy soon, maybe. Okay, let's take some questions. And actually, I put Lucifer on Q&A here.
Oh, did you see Cats got baited? He fell for it. He was so mad.
He was mad. Oh.
Yeah, he wrote, more like I've lost to a Velo 3 times in my life. It's the delayed chat.
Oh,
I like
follow, man. Who's supposed to be on here today, man? We didn't get him on here in time. Okay, let's ask some questions. So again, I'm just sorting by best, guys, filtering by best, and reading them off for the most part. Leakage asks to Huck, thoughts on guys like Polt and Violet's commitment to the NA scene? What I mean is, are they willing to practice with top NA players, or do they just practice with other Koreans despite living in NA? And now that those guys as well as Koreans like Bomber and Czech have been playing on NA ladder, has it improved the ladder in practice as a whole?
Well, it's not like they go out of their way to practice with Korean pros just because almost everybody practiced just ladder for the most part. Even Korean Kespa teams play a lot of ladder. I criticized Blizzard a lot for when they implemented that people had to have a certain amount of games or wins on NA, but I do think it helps NA ladder when people like Jaedong or Bomber or whoever play consistently. I know Polt, for example, plays a lot on EU, so yeah, I think it helps. I think it's a drop in a large bucket that they're playing this little, because obviously they're still going to prioritize, like, Jaedong plays it just to get viewers on stream, or he does it just to get the certain amount of wins or games that he needs, and then he's going to go back to Korea. Same thing with anybody that's living in Korea, I feel. So I think it helps, but there needs to be something more.
Ideas. What are some ideas?
Make the number higher of the amount of games that need to be played. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it too much.
Okay. What are your thoughts, Steven? You think it's gotten better at all, or no?
Maybe, sure. I don't know. That's like a really complicated thing.
I know, it's hard to tell.
Just
There's
have
only
like
a
the
few.
best Koreans
too.
come over and then play like 400 games on ladder and then just leave, and then like that makes all of us really better. I mean, I don't know. Like that would have been a really sick system like 2 years ago. If that would have been in place, I think that the ladder quality on North America would be way fucking better.
Yeah, we gotta start somewhere.
At this point,
I mean.
yeah, sure. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm okay with systems like that. I think that's good. I think that's cool.
EG Lady Call asks, Huck, did Hey Pro really do blow off that hooker?
Oh my God.
Not technically. We put detergent on the back, and he thought it was Coke, but he did do something off of some hookers back. I don't know.
Oh, God. All right, let's see. This Jose Ramirez. It's pretty much the same question as the first one. How do you... I don't know if you guys have been following the Fight Night stuff on ESGN, but Jump Boy 2 asked, how do you feel about the ring girls on ESGN TV? Do you know what they're talking about? Oh, at
I
least
haven't
Huck-
Guessing it's scantily clad women.
God, they like... People in the Hearthstone community have just been...
I haven't seen it, but I've had some close friends that have commented on it. Mostly a lot of females not liking it.
Yeah,
and a
actually
lot of males
Sue, I
not
think,
giving
in
a shit.
particular, reacted to it.
Yeah. So I haven't actually seen it myself. I guess it depends, because
They're-
people have like compared it to UFC, but I
Can you
feel like
link it?
esports has more girls than UFC does, and I don't know. I
I
personally,
mean, so if you haven't seen it, they're basically dressed like... Imagine,
I need a link.
imagine
yeah,
Britney
I haven't
Spears.
seen it either.
Imagine
I
Britney
need a
Spears
link.
hit me. Okay, then hold
I don't
on.
want to imagine, ChanManV.
All right. Let me find it. She is. Hold on.
Steven needs staff material for later. we need those links.
Oh shit! Hold on. Give me a second. CSGN's Fight Night stuff.
I haven't seen it either, actually. So.
It might be on like right now. Honestly, we might be going on at the same time as them. Let me see. All right, let me find it. Okay.
I think like if I was running the organization
Yeah, perhaps
myself,
we'll
I
last.
would probably not have it, but I don't feel like it's I mean, I guess it's good for them because it's at least creating controversy. I mean,
Let
you're
me
looking
find
up the fucking link right now as we speak, so either way, they're getting good views. So it's a smart business decision.
We're talking about it. Yes. Well, ESGN got a lot of shit for whenever they were you know, that first trailer, right? Had those, you know, had Timo like leading a workout, you know, like with a bunch of women like doing, yeah. Okay, so just look at this video right here. You can kind of see them in the very beginning when they're spinning the wheel, but in between rounds they kind of walk around with like
What's
round
the
one
time?
to round two. Let's see if you can just see at least how they're they're dressed at, let me see, 2 minutes 45 seconds. Okay, it's not quite Britney Spears "Hit Me Baby One More Time," but it's kind of close to that. But-
Overall, the stream looks really nice, though. It looks very
Oh, the quality is pretty cool. I mean, in the studio
Yeah.
and everything.
I feel this
Can
is
we
kind of
stop
cheesy.
doing this? Yeah,
Yeah,
can we
it's
not
kinda
do this with
cheesy.
fucking girls anymore? Like, maybe it's like funny like once, but holy fuck, it's like cringeworthy as shit. Every time
Yeah.
I see shit like this, it's like when all of those fucking posts, front page on StarCraft Reddit, where it's like, oh my god, X player is such a pimp boss motherfucker, and it's like a guy standing next to like a
Maro?
girl or something.
Maro from
what?
IEM.
Yeah, I think Maro was the last one that had happened. Yeah, where it's like him standing next to a girl, like walking next to like two girls, like, oh my god, such a pimp. Like, come on, like fucking. StarCraft 2
Yeah.
came out in 2011. We should all at least be like 16 years old by now, right? Like, can we not do shit like that anymore?
Sex
I-
sells,
it's
man.
so
Sex
fucking cringe.
sells.
I hadn't seen it until now, but this looks very, very, very cheesy and just stupid. Like, if anything, you know, the cliche of us being like gamers and nerds and not socially acceptable and, you know, not being able to talk to girls, this is just enforcing that kind of stereotype even more, because
That's a good point.
it's very,
It
very,
happens.
very obvious they're getting paid to stand there and they have no idea what they're doing, and they have no idea if they're gonna
You
be
think?
like, kidnapped or soon or yeah, they don't give a shit. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They like looking at the board. They're like,
You
oh,
can look
this
at
is
the
nice.
empty. You can stare into the empty abyss that is their eyes. I saw when you look at the video. I have, like, no idea. Like, maybe if
Exactly.
they at least knew the material, it'd be a little bit different. But come on, like you know.
Wait, so even if they
Sex
knew
sells.
the material and they were dressed like that, you think it would make it any better?
I mean, it'd be a
I mean,
little
seriously.
bit funnier, maybe. At least there'd be more value than we've hired a girl that is pretty attractive. She's gonna stand here in scantily clad clothing, and like it adds nothing to the value of anything. Nothing is added. No new viewers are being picked up. Period. And all you're doing is alienating some people, making other people feel like you're being a fucking idiot, and potentially, you know, stirring up unnecessary drama that I don't think helps anybody's bottom line either. You know, I don't think anybody's gonna be a permanent viewer just because they hear that some of these girls are sometimes there staring lifelessly into the distance while players are standing around. You know.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of just cheesy and stupid.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be making it into the next one.
Otherwise, the product that what I just saw from that short clip, it looks
Mhm.
really professional and really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the studio's
So
really
like
cool.
when they go to like pull sponsors or like, you know, whatever, they're gonna send this video to whatever Gillette or fucking Coke or whatever, and then Coke's gonna look at these girls and they're gonna be like, really? That's how you're gonna approach us with that shit? Like,
Yeah.
are you gonna run a porn video after or what? It's stupid.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. But yeah, overall it does look good. And
One of the biggest things that all gamers fucking hate, it's like universal amongst all gamers, is we hate it anytime anything about gaming is mentioned in the mainstream media. We always get mad when people don't know what they're talking about, right? Like, go to any fucking forum where they talk about, you know, some of the G4 TV programming, or anytime gaming is brought up. Like, I think there's a new Nerds show on, like, MTV, like some reality show with geeks and I don't even know what it's fucking called.
Oh, I think.
But like
I-
anytime stuff
think
like
I know
that
what
gets
you're
mentioned in
talking
the mainstream, people are like, oh, they have no idea what they're talking about. Like, oh, you know, they're so casual. They don't even understand anything. What the fuck is going on? They shouldn't talk about it at all. It's like, well, that's cool. Then if we want to build our own esports stuff, then we should have it. You know, we should have people in every area that all like are into esports and know what they're talking about or whatever. So
Mhm.
hiring a girl to look pretty and just stand there and not give a fuck about anything is like so fucking lame. That's so dumb. You know, like I said, like even if the girls were dressed like that and as scantily clad and whatever bullshit, if they at least like knew the material and could like make a joke, because like that would actually turn it around quite quickly. I think like if there was a girl who was dressed like that who was making jokes about like PVT or whatever, like I think that would instantly become more, at least a little bit more acceptable than just we're gonna hire some eye candy to, you know, shove them into the edge of the screen.
Well, come on, we've had some companies hire some eye candy, in the past, and
And
eventually.
hasn't it always? Eventually, like one person ended up turning out, the Lauren Elise or whatever, ended up turning
Yeah.
out to have a little bit more interest in it. But for the most part, just hiring a pretty girl, and even when Lauren Elise was first brought on, like I think a lot of people would argue some valid points that she was brought in a little bit too early, and that a lot of the interviews were really cringeworthy, and that it's not enough to just hire. That whole idea that sex sells is a fucking myth anyway. In this day and age, there are no legitimate studies that will prove, and you can go and read about it. There are no legitimate studies in this day and age that will point to sex being able to sell a product better than anything else. And in a lot of cases, especially in the fucking gaming industry, there are a lot of examples that point to the contrary. There's a lot of studies you can read about that game called there was a game called like Katana. It was like some Japanese girl assassin, and the whole game was like fucking the most sexually oriented thing in the fucking history of all mankind. And there was so much backlash, and the sales for the game were fucking horrible, and just ugh, I don't know. I'm done. Sorry, I love you.
All right, let's move on to the next question. Next question is from our friend Alex. So Shu asked a question. He rewrote my question. Destiny, why do 12 of the 16 invitational players get seeded into Anaheim, especially when there are 0 qualifiers, and it is strictly an invitational tournament? It seems unfair considering how in the past at MLGs the groups were so crucial and players would get top 32 championship bracket instantly. I know Huck and Destiny have first-hand experience on how the old MLG systems were heavily skewed towards group players. They can go 1-4, get top 32, where a player can go 4-2 from the open bracket and finish top 64.
I could be wrong, but I think the reason why they're going to be seeded into Anaheim has to do with because the people that are getting invited are all related to the previous WCS. So maybe it has something to do with that. Does that make sense?
Kind of,
Yeah,
but then if you
kinda.
consider like In Control / Noni /
How
don't
far are these
remember
guys
who
all
else.
getting seeded into Anaheim? Are they being seeded past the open bracket?
I don't even understand.
Yeah, that's a good
the 12
question.
invites this qualifier going to Anaheim? Because I didn't even know that was happening. I thought it was just
Wait,
going
if
to
that's
this
true,
tournament.
then I might
I don't
try
think
to
that's
play in this
true.
tournament. I need to
I
figure
don't
out if
think
that's true, because if so, I'm going to put
I don't
myself in the
think it's
public
true.
invite list.
Yeah, fuck
I
casting
think-
it, man. I'm
I
playing
think
in
this
it.
is this is this online tournament is very, very separate from Anaheim, as far as I know. And then as far as Anaheim, there will be seats, but that'll be through some sort of qualifier or league that they host later. This is just the online tournament on game or whatever is just very separate compared to everything else, as far as I've
Yeah.
understood it.
I think that's true. Yeah, I don't think that there's any direct seeding going on here.
Okay, that's definitely good. All right, next question.
Adabisi is screaming in chat. He's mad as fuck right now.
What is he at? What is
And
he
by
saying?
Adabisi, I really mean Destiny. What's he doing in chat?
Okay, next up, let's see. Thoughts on the new WCS map pool. Mainly the 3 newer maps. This is from Rerolled tonight. Maps, Dataless Point, Heavy Rain, and Habitation Station. What do you guys think of them?
I'm in a Protoss chat, and everybody in the Protoss chat hates them, but I don't really dislike them that much, to be honest. I think anything new is fun and exciting, and that's all I really care about, and I think overall viewers and fans will care a lot more about. I mean, if it's broken as shit, then let's wait and see if it's broken as shit, not just from the first week it's been out on ladder. Like, if there's like, if it's a Pro League map and it's like Protoss versus Zerg, and Protoss has won 1 game and Zerg's won 10, and now only Zergs play on that map, they'll remove the map. But like, let there be some trial and error before you completely judge anything. And a week on ladder isn't enough.
What are your thoughts on some of these events using new maps as a forum to try out, to try out things? Since getting maps on the ladder can be a pretty arduous process. Here's an example: Shoutcraft. Like, if TB decides to add some new maps that aren't on the ladder, what are your thoughts of that as a player?
Well, go ahead, Dustin.
Go ahead, Steven.
I was gonna, and just to relate to this in the last one, this might be really ignorant. I'm sorry. How much Brood War did you play at the end of Brood War, Hug?
I played a good amount of Brood War. Not even at the end, just altogether I played a good
Were
amount
you
of
ever
Brood War.
one of the people that got to like A+ on IC Cup, or was that just like Major and Noonie and?
Not A+, I got A-.
Okay, so still really fucking good. One of the things that's always worried me about this game, and you can speak to it better than I can, but I get really nervous that people will get locked into this idea. I don't know. I think that the environment of a game where you're waiting for patches from the developer is a really a scary world. I don't want to get stuck into like the League of Legends mindset where something is released and the entire community instantly decides that it's unbalanced and then nobody does anything with it. You just wait for it to get nerfed out of existence. I would be really worried about having in StarCraft, and I kind of see that whenever like a map gets released, we're like, oh no, it's fucking gay. Stop, nobody play it. Done. And then like nobody even fucking try. Like it's instantly downvoted.
Right.
Everybody instantly marks out their maps like, no, impossible. We're not even gonna fucking look at it. Nerf it immediately, Blizzard, or like change the map or make this balance change. You know, I would get worried if everybody gets trapped into that mindset, because I think that will stagnate the metagame worse than any other possible single event that could ever happen in the history of mankind. You know, I think to some extent players need to feel like they're alone. Like we can make more Ender's Game references, right? Players need to feel like they have to figure out their problems, and they're going to have to figure out their shit without the adults stepping in to kind of moderate for them. I think that's really important in player creativity and to avoid metagame stagnation.
I agree completely, and also Brood War wasn't patched for the longest time, and even though meta kept changing and the game kept evolving and the players got better and better, a lot of the balance issues were addressed via the maps. Like if one race was doing well or one race, and there was many different. There was like island maps, there was completely walled off maps, there was like really choky maps, wide open maps. There's like a whole different, array of maps. But that's why there's tournaments. For most part, tournaments have vetoes, and tournaments have certain maps that are stronger to one race or stronger to another race, or there's like certain builds that are going to work on certain maps. And if you play a map that really sucks for Protoss late game, then figure out a really good cheesy build earlier mid game, or figure out a timing, or and these are I agree, players should try to adapt to the maps, because when you just have the same maps with the same size ramp, same size choke, same number of distance from each base to each base, the maps are all a certain size or whatever, it ends up being every game
boring as fuck.
Yeah, the same shit over and over and over, and that's what happened a lot in Wings of Liberty.
Wings of Liberty, yes.
Yeah, but how do we? The question is, how do we get the community, or how do we get
players have to be in the mindset that some maps are going to be better for some races. One of the cool things about Brood War, and again, if Huk can speak to this better than I can, in Brood War, some maps, some races were just expected to lose on. Like there were just some maps in Brood War where it's like, if you're playing X matchup, you're gonna have a really fucking hard time, and that's just a fact. But there are other maps, where you can, where that'll change because it'll be flipped in your favor, and maps like those tended to lend themselves to some really interesting games sometimes, where because one player is expected to be at a disadvantage, there's always interesting shit that can happen. The bad thing that Huk is talking about is where every single, and I've always talked about this, like instead of actually balancing the game to make it interesting, what Blizzard did is they just ended up making every single fucking map the length of like 400 football fields.
Yeah.
So now we have every single map has the one ramp, the easy to defend third, the 27,000 second rush distance between bases, and it's like, holy fucking shit, like every single map is the exact same fucking map. They all look a little bit different, but more or less they all function the exact same way.
We talked about this, though. Okay, so we've talked about stuff like this. I've talked to it like ad nauseum, but how do we get the community and the players to accept this shit?
Like Red Bull has done a decent job. They had like half the maps were regular maps, and then they voted in some community maps. So there's
didn't they
there's a
veto
lot
those out though? I mean, for the most part, like we didn't see some of those maps.
Well, one of the most famous games, Bomber vs. Scarlet, was on a new map that is now implemented in the ladder. So tournaments just have to pick maps that aren't in the ladder pool, or pick maps that are built from the community. Like, don't take some random guy that makes like fastest map possible from Brood War and says use this map, but there are some credible map makers that tournaments can reach out to, and just slowly implement them. And then you don't have to do like all completely new maps that no one's played before, but do like a half and half, and then players want to veto them, then they'll veto them. But like if I had the choice of vetoing a ladder map that's really Zerg favored in my own opinion right now, or vetoing a new map that I've like barely played on, I would probably veto the Zerg strong map, because at least I'll be at the same level as my opponent on a new map compared to a map that I feel is personally Zerg favored. So it's mainly up to the tournaments and the players in the community not bitching as much as they've been bitching, and then just play them out and see. Like, it's been like such a short amount of time.
Are you in favor of like even maps that, let's just say the maps were even Steps of War, like something that's just ridiculously close, right? And the game doesn't even utilize some of the late game units at all. Would you even be in favor of shit like that? Because the game would be a completely different type of game.
I think
versus
that I
standard.
personally think that Protoss is fucked. I think that a lot of the reasons why our maps are limited, and I'm not even talking about from an overpowered or an underpowered point of view. I just think that the whole force field mechanic makes the Protoss race feel like really fucking not fun. Not fun to play or play against. I guess maybe Huck might have different opinions on that, but I don't know. I feel like if Protoss could just get tweaked around more so that their early game wasn't hinging so heavily on the force field stuff, that I feel like that everything could be like so much different, because TVT, ZVZ, and ZVT could all be carried out across a large portion of maps.
Yeah,
with the only limiting factor being maybe like the 2 Rax rushes from Terran. So I don't know, but I
you
feel
could
like
2-Rax each
close.
other. I mean, in TVT, right?
In TVT.
Oh, okay.
2 Raxes on
Alright,
really
sure.
close maps can be really brutal, but
I think Protoss with the force field mechanic, like removing that and changing the game as much as it would take is just such a huge thing for me to
daunting
even.
task.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how much would have to happen for that to be fixed. So it's kind of in the realm of impossibility, I would think. I don't think
So-
Blizzard is gonna ever remove force field or change the game to the degree that Protoss doesn't rely on force field in some degree. I feel like there are ways to work around the problems of Protoss early game on small maps or whatever. I don't think a map there's been macro games on Steps of War. I know recently Nathanias runs the whatever troll tournament he runs, and Tanger was playing against some. I think it's Sun or something, but they both have pretty good off races, and good enough where it could be comparable to like NA pro players, and they played like a macro game on Steps of War. What people don't realize is a lot of these old maps that were initially in beta / early Wings of Liberty, the meta itself was so different back then that if we as professional players went back and played some of these old maps, those types of games would never occur the same way as they did back then. I remember playing Damaga on Steps of War so many times in Zotac Cup and being so fucking bad that I would know he's either going to Nidus me or he's going to Baneling bust my front, but I wasn't good enough to defend both and scout my main, because that main, it would take like 2 probes patrolling, and I couldn't fucking conceive of how I could do that and manage my base and macro and do everything I needed to do. So I would literally just roll the dice. Either I defend the front or I defend the Nidus, and I would give up, the other option and just win or lose 50% of the games. So I definitely feel like we need to keep pushing new maps. Whether they're bad or good, we'll see over time, but there's no need to, just fucking remove every map that's a little bit different than the previous.
Do you think it should be baby steps, or do you think it should just be drastic? Like literally make an island map or something crazy that's just absolutely different.
The thing is, they do that kind of shit in Pro League where they've had maps that are like absurdly different. I think I've like from a tournament standpoint, do like half and half. I think that's a pretty reasonable compromise. You can do half maps from ladder, whatever the ladder map pool may be, and they can be very conservative normal maps if you want, like Belshir or Akalon or whatever maps you want, or you can add maps like fucking that lemon fruit map or Deadless Point, or whatever maps you want to add. I don't think it doesn't matter.
The lemon fruit map isn't. I mean, the lemon fruit map is mostly like the aesthetics are a lot different, but the map itself isn't like drastically different. Where like the type of play that on that map is completely different than the standard. Just what we've seen over the last year and a half, or just this past year really with Heart of the Swarm. One of these days, Steven, we need to do a map show again, because I did one on Climb the Ladder like last year, and I think we probably need to do it again, and just to help promote it, push it, because TL's doing those map making contests, and that's kind of like some kind of inlet into getting on the ladder. But I think we need even more avenues of getting the community like on board with this and getting the players on board. But we need the community on board with this too. Like we need you guys watching right now to want new maps, to want to see new maps, because the game is only pushed and the game is only developed even more with the map changes. Like we complain about balance, but like Huck said, you can change the game. You can actually mold the game with the maps that you create, even with the current
for sure.
balance.
Like honestly, that new map, the that Bomber and Scholar played. I think it's called Habitation Station, but I
Yeah.
might be wrong.
Habitation
But
Station.
it's a really, really interesting map because there's I personally hate gold bases and I think they should be removed, and I personally hate sensor towers and I think they should be removed from every map. But that map makes for like really interesting games because it does have that gold base and it does have these like really weird chokes where it's easy to take bases and defend them with like a few number of sentries, but at the same time the chokes are so small that Swarm Host and Mutalisk do really well because there's so much air, and there's just a lot of different elements because it's a new map and it's completely different than other maps so far, and we need to continue pushing the trend of, you know, mixing it up and stay away from being, you know, very narrow-minded. Every
Yeah.
player, especially Protoss, because I'm Protoss and I'm in a Protoss chat, and I know like so many Protosses hate the new maps, but you got to be willing to try things out. So.
Yeah. Let's see. Salgo, we're asking a couple more. Salgo, for Destiny, you said that team games don't generally work for individual personalities, like how League of Legends didn't work for you. But do you think there are
that quote is taken way out of context.
do you think there are exceptions? For example, if a game like Heroes of the Storm blew up and someone like you catches the train early, do you see yourself being able to have a good time if the game is good and have a stable and popular stream for a game like this?
Yeah, whoa. First of all, the statement that I made is that there are some personalities who have styles of humor that are best suited to solo environments, and there are other people who can jive well with other people. That was my original statement. So, like, for an example, like the examples that I gave earlier with Idra and Chad, those guys can be really funny around the right people, right? Or I would like to think that, like, for myself, like, I can talk to most people and it can be, like, an enjoyable experience. Or In Control can talk to most people and it'll be an enjoyable experience. But there are other people who, and one isn't better than the other, and I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but say, like, Dragon style of humor, right? Dragon is funny to watch on a stream, or, like, Maximus Black is really funny to watch, you know, whether it's dangling the ball sacks or dressing up in underwear and twerking, whatever Dragon does. That's funny, but that doesn't necessarily translate to, like, a 5v5 environment. Because, like, if we're all doing that and, like, one person is trying to, like, dress up in underwear and, like, twerk on the wall, like, it's not, like, it doesn't make for a good, like, group entertainment kind of thing, you know? That's what my comment was.
Well, who's the most entertaining League of Legends streamer in your opinion? That's
All the League of Legends streamers are boring as fuck.
Yeah, I know, that's what I mean. So
probably-
it's like, how do you even do that?
But
The
there's
Trick
some people
GG guy
that
is
are.
really
Yeah, that's who I was exactly gonna cite.
Yeah.
Trick
Trick GG
GG.
guy is really funny.
He like
Trick
kind of
GG.
acts like gangstery, but he like talks shit, and he, you know, he does it in a very intelligent, not dumb way. Like I feel like there's dumb humor and there's smart humor, and a lot of the people that are, they work well with others is because they're, you know, conversationally funny and they make like intelligent comments or, you know, whatever. And then there's people that just do cheaper things like Dragon dressing up in a bikini. Like he's gonna get good viewers, but it
Whoa.
not like what.
What?
What?
That's
What's wrong with
true.
that? Like
Cheap,
if you get a
but
velo,
sure, yeah.
if a velo takes like a mannequin head, writes Idra on the forehead, beats him in a game, and then face fucks that mannequin, he's gonna get good viewers for that. If he puts it up on a highlight, he's gonna be the top highlight of that week on StarCraft 2. Like it's gonna get good views. But there's some players that are funny in a certain way. There's some Okay, Afromu, someone mentioned, is
Yeah,
also
Afromu.
a really funny guy, I think. But
Afro is pretty funny, yeah.
yeah, so it's just different kinds of humor.
It's more,
completely-
but you know, all those guys are funny, but it's still in the context of playing the game. Versus some of those guys that you mentioned, it's like stuff in between games. I feel like where
Well,
a lot of the
Dragon
entertainment
and
is.
Maximus Black can both do, like, for Maximus Black, he can do, like, his singing thing and wearing, like, the night hat and all that.
Like, yeah, there's a lot of things, but yeah. But I don't see that so much of that in League of Legends, guys, so much. But you know, whatever. Let's see. Next.
Hey, wait.
What?
Can we, here, to illustrate this real fast,
All right,
because you said
sure.
you didn't see much in League of Legends. Watch this on stream real fast. Minute
Okay.
30 seconds.
All right,
I haven't
let's
watched
see.
this before, but I'm so confident that this will be funny, because Trick Trick is funny.
Okay, let me see. Wait, it's the wrong one. Shit. God, cut and paste does not work well in Skype. Jeez. There we go. Let's get over this ad. Hold on. Skip it. Here we go. All right, here we go. You want me to show it? Okay.
I think Deadly is over there. Yeah, they're both over there.
Yeah, but you didn't even see this guy.
he's
Thanks,
funny.
bro. I needed that shit. I needed that shit, baby. Come on, man. Let's talk this out.
He almost sounds like Zeno.
Let's talk this out, baby. Let's talk this out, baby.
I love it when he plays the music.
I haven't heard the
Let's
music
talk
yet.
this shit out, baby.
Wait.
Yo, let's talk this shit
His
out,
playing
baby.
Garen
You're
was
dealing
really
with the number
funny.
one dude there in the world, bro. Yo, let's talk this shit out, baby. Yo. I said let's talk this out. Can we do that? Trainer, do you mind talking this shit out, baby? We just got paid, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit the... Oh, shit!
But you see?
Alright.
So like
got it.
he's like trolling, but then he's successful at it, but then he's talking shit, and then he's playing a song. Like everything about it is just really, really funny.
Yeah,
and
I got it.
exciting.
Well,
And
one of the hardest things to do is to do dumb comedy intelligently. It's one of those things where, like, the greatest fucking example of this is, have you ever seen the movie Superbad?
Yeah, yes.
Superbad is one of those movies where, like, you watch it, or Pineapple Express, where
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
the
yeah.
humor, and on one hand, looks really dumb. Like, oh, like, I could, like, fucking write that movie, like, just a bunch of guys making dumb jokes, blah, 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 blah. But, like, if you actually sit down and try it, or you watch people that try to emulate that style of humor and aren't funny at all, you realize, well, you know, Superbad and Pineapple Express and movies in that vein are actually written, like, that's a really, really, really intelligent writing to get that style of humor, that kind of really dumb style of humor, to come across and to actually be, like, genuinely really funny or whatever, is actually something that's really hard to do. And there are some people that do it. What Huk was saying is there are some people who can do that style of humor really intelligently. So even though it kind of looks dumb, like what Trick2G does, like, and it's easy to discredit people, because some people who hate Trick2G will just say, like, oh, like, he runs around, like, screaming respect all day, like, good, wow, big fucking whoop. You know, or for me, people are like, oh, wow, like, he just runs around on stream spamming nigger all day or whatever, like, big fucking whoop. Like, people will do shit like that. But in all actuality, like, doing it and having it be, like, consistently funny is a lot different than just, like, dressing up in a bikini or whatever and then, you know, like, dancing on stream. Like, there are two different kinds of humor. Not saying one is better or worse than the other, but, you know.
Yeah,
it's just different.
gotcha. Alright, last question. Maybe one last question here. Trying to find a good one. We'll wrap things up. Right, for you, Huk. What's your goals for 2014? It's a Shock SC2 asset. It says you kind of fell off of the radar in 2013 compared to 2011-12. Any particular reason you think you fell off a bit? And let's see, SMTH special you have worked on late. Oh, something special you've worked on lately? I don't even know what that means, but
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but mostly I just didn't play as much. At the end of Wings of Liberty, I was kind of burnt out from just the play style itself. I'm a big player on, like, I don't care so much about balance and this stuff, and this is something I've obviously talked about. Like, the more fun the game is itself, the more I'll practice, the more I'll be successful, the more, you know, I'll enjoy it. And I'm trying to get back into that mindset just by streaming a lot. Like I've said this last week, I've been streaming like maybe 6 to 9 hours every single day, and I'm going to try to continue to do that all year round, because that's what I was doing when I was successful. And then on top of that, my expectations, or what I hope to get, would be, I don't know, just maybe get like 40 to 60,000 in prize money winnings, I guess, would be a good goal. And
thoughts on
then,
going back to Korea? You thinking about going back to Korea at all?
I haven't thought about it at all. It's something that I would definitely be willing to do, but as far as living there on a permanent basis now, I don't think I would ever do again. So yeah,
Okay.
I definitely thought, I know, like the league that Suppy's been playing in, the Taiwanese league, where you basically stay there for 3 months and you play in their league and they give you like a small salary. I've definitely thought about doing that. So yeah, I would be interested in it, but as far as living there on a permanent basis, no.
All right.
You okay, Chanman?
Yeah. What?
Oh, I
That's
heard the
mine.
cops in the back. Oh.
That's
They're
my
coming to get me, man. Immigration's here. Shit, I don't know where my visa's.
What the fuck?
No.
Wait, are you not a citizen, Chanman?
Of course I'm a citizen, jeez.
Were you born in the United States of America?
I was born... Yes, of course I was.
Okay, just
Of
making
course
sure.
I was.
Still eligible to be president, right?
Yeah, actually... I forget what the eligibilities are. But maybe. Actually, Steve, you're going to be at the Tampa thing, right? Later this month?
No, I was gonna be, it's in 8 days, but apparently they didn't get enough people to sign up to invite me, so fuck it. I'm not going now.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Rip on.
Good, I don't
What
have to
Tampa
drive.
thing? I would love to go to Tampa. What
The
the
Tampa,
fuck?
there's a pretty...
Little land in Tampa.
Yeah, actually the first one was decently successful. I was hoping this one would... I think they were hoping, too, that it would be bigger than the last one. But I guess it doesn't sound like it is. But they do a really good job there. I remember seeing...
What? I wish someone would have invited me or something. I think the there was a guy from that thing that talked to me and emailed me saying that he would be willing to fly me out and whatnot, but I haven't heard from him in like 4 months or something.
Yeah, let's
Because I assume there's not a lot of Tampa shit that happens.
Should have
no,
responded to him.
there's not. There's not, but I know
I
Sheth
probably
was.
talked to the same guy, and it was set up to be that way. But what they ended up saying is that the turnout was looking like it was going to be too low for them to justify flying a whole bunch of people out.
It's tough in
And-
January. Maybe the next
Yeah.
one will be at a better
As
time.
fun as it
frame.
looked to go down, I didn't want to go
I
down
would
my own
love
dime,
to go because I got like
You didn't want
grandparents
it-
down
you-
there
oh.
or something. So
Well, if you go, God, Tampa's so far. It's like 4 hours from me. If you go to Orlando, if somebody does something in Orlando and brings Steven and actually, I saw Chris in Orlando. I saw Huck in Orlando last time we were there, so we can all get together, hang out. But all right, guys, let's wrap the show. Huck, great having you on for the first time, and it'll be awesome having you on more. We gotta get Steven on Wednesday Night Sprites to play some arcade with us.
yeah,
When you go-
definitely.
fun.
When you coming on, man? You're always talking about arcade and Brood War and how like StarCraft 2 is. Come and play with us, man.
I'm a working man now. I gotta manage all my shit. I don't got time for fun anymore, dude. I just slave away on stream, rage at kids like a Villa and Ladder, and then do my
You can
creative
rage
shit.
on you can rage on kids at the you can rage on kids in the arcade. But any shout outs, thank yous you want to do, Huck?
Yeah, watch my stream. Like I said, I've been streaming, so check it out. I know a lot of people said I was gonna be too filtered because I'm on EG and shit, but I felt like I was pretty
No,
unfiltered.
He's never filtered, man. This guy.
Yeah, so fuck you people.
If you
and,
know Huck, he's not filtered.
And yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
Mhm.
Thanks both of you for doing this and whatnot, and that's it.
Steven.
Thanks to well, real fast. I just need to make an announcement. Katz and Neve were the last two invited players to the MLG GameOn
There we
kickoff
go.
thing.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh,
Katz
Cats and
is
Neat?
playing in it?
Oh.
He's casting.
Yeah, he's gonna play in it.
Well, what is
I guess
this?
Katz when he's not playing. Yep.
Wow.
that's
Oh
cool,
wow.
Chris.
Okay.
But don't worry, our other exciting guest casters that.
Can't you
Fuck, I don't
announce
know
them
if
yet?
I'm
My
gonna-
gosh.
I don't know. Wait, hold on. Wait. Give me like 2 seconds. You do your shoutouts real fast. Wait. Can we
Me do 'em?
announce guest casters?
All right, hold on.
Am I
I'm
gonna
actually
go
trying
again?
to. Damn it! I'm trying to find.
Wait, don't
something.
you have like EG sponsors to shout out, Huck?
Nah, fuck that shit.
What? All right. Okay, shit. I'm trying to find
Okay, I
something
want to
too.
give a
Hold
big
on.
shout out to Adam from MLG,
Oh,
who's
here
a
it is.
great
Okay,
guy,
here it
I
is. I
think,
found
so
it.
far. Wait, is that the right Adam? Yeah.
Yeah. Adam.
Okay, and right now on our list for people that we think are going to come down to guest cast, I think Kat said they're both confirmed. Idra and In Control will probably stop by and cast. I don't know how much they'll be casting, but it'll be fun.
Oh, Adrian and In Control. Oh, wow. Okay, that should
Yeah,
be really good.
and then in about 3 days, I think in 3... Oh, fuck, he just asked if we can announce it. What the fuck? Well, it's out there now. Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
In 3 days, the voting will open on the GameOn.gg website, where we will be taking votes for the last 4 slots, I think.
Okay.
For
And-
like
He's
4
not gonna
people.
be on that list.
I'll do everything I can to get him removed. No, I'm just kidding. I do think Avila is going to be on that list.
Oh, come
Okay.
on, baby. Yes. Come on. That's
I
gold
need-
right
I
there.
need 3
Come
votes.
on.
Put him
You
in
get-
my
I think
group.
pretty much anybody that's going to be pretty much anybody that's anybody in the NA scene should be on that list.
All
If
right.
we
So
forget
who are we
anybody-
missing from that
Yeah.
list then?
No,
Avila.
I think everybody important will be on this list that could be voted in.
Important. Jeez, man.
Well, like that people would like want to vote in. Like a lot of people won't look at the list and be like, "Oh man, like why don't you have him on there or whatever?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And as long as they haven't BM me a lot on lot or whatever, everybody should be on there. I think.
So there's only 16 relevant people. Is that what you're saying? In NA. Okay. Anything else? Steven? Anything else?
Oh,
Don't you
if
have
wanna
some,
keep your face baby smooth like mine, even though I haven't shaved in a couple days, check out destiny.gg/shave. Cheap razors delivered right to your fucking house every month or every 2 months. If you're one of my 14-year-old fans, you don't grow facial hair that fast. Also, check out destiny.gg/ting. You can check out Ting Mobile if you don't very much. You like the plans there can be very fucking cheap. I think I pay like 13 or 14 bucks a month for my cell phone plan. And they'll also buy out your contract or like a percentage of it if you're already locked in a contract or whatever. So check them out, destiny.gg/ting. Also, follow me on Twitter and all that good shit. And then go, ChanManV.
Awesome, awesome. Shout outs, of course. Big shout out to Huck for coming on the show, and Steven for doing it each and every week with me. All you guys for watching it. And quick shout out to this 4v4 Strikers Battle Royale tournament. It's a Star Strikers tournament, guys. So yes, you're gonna have to endure this. Here's the link to it, guys. Everybody can still sign up for it. I still plan on doing a Super Star Strikers soon, but I just haven't had time the last couple months. I'll figure out a time in either this month or next month to do one. But in the meantime, there's another one going on, and these guys are great. All the best Star Strikers players will be there, mixed with a bunch of, just folks like myself and just not as skilled people. So it'll be a pretty cool tournament. So check it out if you can. And also, let's see, the first two parts of the show are already on the YouTube channel, so you can check them out here. Here's a link to the first part, guys, right here. And anything else?
I got something to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
The David Kim blog, so people would shut up.
Oh yeah. Okay, David Kim blog.
Nothing.
I forgot about that.
Like,
they didn't say anything. It was just
Yeah,
like a percentages, guys. I mean, there's nothing to talk about.
we're gonna wait and see. Basically, was what he said.
Yeah.
What Blizzard always says.
There's
it.
nothing to talk about in that
Yeah.
thing.
Percentages also don't tell you if the game is like balanced or designed well. Like let's say like Protoss wins like 95% of games before 10 minutes. Well, actually, let's talk about PvZ because it kind of feels that way, right? Where like if the game ends before 10 minutes, Protoss wins like 90% of the games, but if it goes past like 15 minutes, Protoss loses like 90% of the games. Like when you talk about a scenario like that where it's possible to end up in a 50-50 win rate, like do you really feel like good about that? I don't know. I don't like looking at raw percentages.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you anything. I mean, it's... Yeah, so anyways, that's why I didn't bring it up.
Especially when you factor in that Blizzard's MMR system is at work, and their matchmaking system is at work, which is supposed to kind of ensure 50-50 in all the matchups. So then you get like some really weird spots where it's like, is this balance indicative of good balance in the game, or is it just indicative of Blizzard's matchmaking system? Like, I don't know, I think that gets really, really shady.
And then they also said in the post, our percentages have been adjusted to skill or whatever. Like, who the fuck knows what that means too? There's so many variables that it doesn't even matter. Just ignore it altogether. Doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, we'll talk about it more in like a month or so whenever we see a lot, just a lot more results and a lot more. I mean, you guys will have opinions. You guys in the community will have more of opinions too. So, hopefully, we'll definitely do that, and hopefully. We can...
Real fast, the site for the voting, guys, when you're going to want to vote for people is GameOn.gg.
Oh, okay, let me find that.
Yeah.
Let's find that.
I did all of the site design and the logo branding myself. I actually did the art and everything, too.
Can you
I'm
link
really
it?
proud of
Shut up. Are you serious?
GameOn.gg. No, I'm kidding. Actually, Katz himself did, I think... Katz did most of the work. I thought the GameOn symbol and shit looks really cute.
Yeah, it looks really nice. The logo looks pretty nice, guys. Here it is. Yeah.
So, when does the voting go up?
It goes on in 3 days, I think.
Is this an MLG brand, or is this like a Cats brand thing?
This is independent from MLG, but working with MLG.
Cool.
Yeah. So the GameOn logo, look, if you look at that logo, it's actually a G and an O, like the power button used. Yeah. Okay, I missed it.
we caught that.
So
dude.
happy.
Caught that. Thanks for pointing that out.
No problem. Just had to point it out.
Good stuff. Good stuff. But okay, guys. Let's see. Follow us on Twitter at Larange Chris, right?
Yeah.
I got it. Let me just.
Larange Chris, however you want to spell it.
Yeah. Here we go.
At Curse Rux.
Here are our Twitter. Our Twitter. I usually just read them out, but here they are, guys. And go ahead and follow us on Twitter. Follow this channel if you enjoy Unfiltered or any of my other shows, Value Town, Wednesday Night Sprites, Climbing the Ladder. And by the way, all the folks that were wondering about Wednesday Night Sprites, we're going to resume next week. I was just flying into town this past week, so I didn't get a chance to get the show together this week. And again, the YouTube VODs or the VODs will all be free on YouTube. All the folks that aren't familiar with the show, I always get so many complaints for people to see it for the first time. They're like, "You greedy bitch, putting your Twitch VODs behind a sub wall." And it's like, it's free on YouTube, guys. All right, so just go and check it out. Parts 1 and 2 are already there, so you can watch anything that you've missed. And I'll post the last part right after this. And I think that's it, guys. So for EG.Huk, Destiny, ChanManV, we'll see you next time. Later.